I thought I wanted to be a coach forever and ever on the gym floor. I was asked to coach a world champion. This was just the biggest opportunity that had ever come to me. It was a bit fucking crazy, to be honest. But in spite of all that, I still felt like something was missing. Like I felt like, is this it? Like, is this going to be my life? Hey coach, Xenia Wood here, and this is the Swift Coaches Academy podcast, created for service-based business owners who are ambitious enough to break free from the forever hustle and create scalable businesses that truly make an impact while also giving us freedom. With more than a decade of experience, we're not here to waste your time on theory. Instead, just sharing what works and what doesn't to help you get clear as fuck on your next move and show you exactly how to implement the systems and strategies that you need to scale with confidence. Hey, so today's personal update is that recently I just turned 32. So it's always fun having birthdays. I love getting together with my friends and celebrating and catching up in a group with all the people who I love and who love me back, which is awesome. And weird thing in my family is that me, my mum, and my little sister are all born in the same week. So it's called birthday week, obviously, at our house. And it's like you say happy birthday to them and they say like happy birthday back to you when we see them to catch up, which is fun because it's always like, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday? And if anyone, by the way, knows like a better strategy to getting birthday presents that you love and will enjoy as a, I don't know, 30-ish year old, I guess, that now I am, then please let me know, because I feel like it's either like I already buy the things for myself that I want, and so I'm like, I don't really need anything. And so it's usually like a stock up of the tea that I like, or like some candles, which is fine, but it tends to be the same things. Or I think at this age, it's kind of like buying things for your friends that they wouldn't buy themselves, but they will enjoy, like a massage or, some like spa day or some sort of treatment that maybe feels a bit like bougie and luxe, and they're not one to generally do that for themselves, but they'll enjoy it. Outside of that, I struggle to know when people say, hey, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, I don't know. Come hang out with me. Let's go do something. But yeah, my personal update is it was my birthday. And it kind of got me thinking about where I am now and how life looks so fucking different to when it did 3, 5, 10 years ago. And I thought it would be helpful to do a bit of a recap on kind of some pivotal moments in my career from when I was working on the gym floor one-on-one as an exercise physiologist, fully booked for years, realistically, and kind of what made me shift into being completely online, remote, group programs, hybrid models, all these sorts of things, and then teaching that. Because I thought I wanted to be a coach forever and ever on the gym floor and working physically with clients. And I never got into business coaching because I wanted to be online, or, I thought it would be easier, or, you can charge more money or whatever it is. I think a lot of people potentially get into this too soon, or they get into this when they don't have the skill set yet, or they kind of just want the lifestyle, but they don't really, I guess, not they don't know what it takes, because I didn't either, to be fair, but they maybe haven't put the reps in the tank yet to be, I guess, what one would qualify as for a business coach. It's like you want someone who's done what you've done to be coaching you, right? Not someone who failed and fucked up and then went, oh, it's easier if I go and tell people how to do it, but I don't actually put in the reps. So how did I get here? Initially, it was always about providing value, as I'm sure it is for many of you. But I vividly remember in 2018, I want to say, I was asked to coach a world champion bodybuilder for 3 months. And I remember being like, holy fuck. And I almost shit my pants, because this was just the biggest opportunity that had ever come to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like how this chick was a bodybuilder in the WBFF, which has since been rebranded to FMG. But this bodybuilder, her name is Alicia Gowans, now Alicia Kyrgios. But anyway, she reached out being like, hey, I just need some help with my back pain and yada yada. 3 months turned into like 6 months, turned into, hey, please come overseas with me to the Bahamas and Vegas and Miami so that you can be my on the ground trainer to coach me with my bodybuilding, with my rehab, support me through that. Yeah. So from like the 9 months prior, I was just like working really hard, doing pretty well as an exercise physiologist. Like I was fully booked. I'd upped my prices a couple times and I was like, I'm doing pretty well. Like I'm loving this, I'm enjoying it. And then coaching this bodybuilder, going overseas, that was a fucking great opportunity. I got to do it again the next year with her. I went a third time overseas to help support her team. Like it was a bit fucking crazy, to be honest. But in spite of all that, even though I was fully booked one-on-one in the gym, even though I was coaching not just her, but like her team and other world champion athletes, which is just fucking wild to even say or think about now as well, I still felt like something was missing. Like I felt like, is this it? Like, is this going to be my life? Am I going to be doing this until I'm 65? Right. And I think that it's really fucking hard to say that in those moments. And I never really verbalized this to anyone at that time because on the surface and to everyone else externally, like I was really successful. I had been crushing it. Like, holy shit, you had these incredible opportunities. Like you were flown overseas, like all expenses paid. Like it was crazy. And just the insight in the life of a really top 1% of the 1% performing athlete and also business owner and seeing how that worked was really fucking huge and eye-opening for me. So I just remember after all of that craziness happened, sitting in this cafe and I was writing my allied health emails to the team at like 2 p.m. on a Saturday, as I did like every single week. And I was like, is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? And I think this was one of those weeks where I'd probably had like 2 or 3 naps in the car in the middle of the day in the hot sun in Brisbane on the rooftop of the Westfield shopping center of the gym where I worked at. And I was probably tired and I'd probably been had some late nights up till like 11 o'clock, then back up at like 4:30 in the morning to start client sessions at like 5:30 or 5 o'clock or something. And it just felt like on paper, I had all of this success. So who am I to complain or to say, woe is me, or my life is hard, or, what if I don't want this? And I just didn't feel like it was the right thing to do to like, not to talk to anyone about it, but just it kind of felt weird when no one else was doing what I was doing or wanted to do what I wanted to do. And everyone in my life was like working regular jobs or they were like just doing okay. And here I am having all these accolades and incredible clients and being fully booked and making good money. And I still just felt like something was missing from like a career perspective, right? And I guess I felt a little bit like guilty that most coaches want or wanted at the time as well what I had, but I felt like I didn't want it or I didn't want it forever, I think is probably the key distinction. Like there were definitely times when I was like, fuck, do I have to go to work again today? Like, ugh, like it consumed my life. I was doing it 25/8. And I was just in this weird spot because I remember I started to do some different things and my peers almost like pushed back on it and they almost tried to like squash it and keep it small. And I had no one cheering for me, no one telling me these things that I was doing was a good idea. And my parents were like fucking terrified that I was even working for myself, let alone potentially throwing that away or trying something new. And it just like I was the only one backing me and clapping for me at that time. And I say that not so that you feel like, oh, like poor Xenia at all by any means. Please don't feel that. I feel like I've had an incredible career and I love what I do. But in that moment, I was kind of like the only one cheering for me. And I think I want to bring that up specifically because I know there's probably some coaches out there feeling the same thing too at the moment. They're feeling like they're in this spot where what they're doing doesn't light them up as much as it used to, right? Like you're kind of going through the motions. Yes, you're learning and you're trying to do the things, but the clients that you're working with don't need like all the nuance. And realistically, the big key rocks are going to be more mindset things or consistency. And I just kind of felt like I'd plateaued in not my like a plateau definitely in my finances, in my ability to make more money, but also in my ability to provide greater value on a bigger scale to more people and also to the people who I wanted to provide it for. So I always wanted to coach coaches. I always wanted to sort of have a leadership position. I don't know if it was like being raised pretty much as an only child and I've just always been the extroverted one who's put my hand up to be the leader, did speech and drama, all the things. But at this time when I had this fully booked, like initially it was absolutely the goal. And then it kind of became like the norm. And I just felt a little bit of disconnect, I guess, is the easiest way to explain it. And I think something that's important to note here is that you can love coaching clients and also not want to do one-on-one forever. I think that those things can coexist, but a lot of people don't feel that, believe that, or maybe have seen someone do it, maybe other than me. But I think that it's important to know you're allowed to love what you do and also not want to do it forever, or also want to do it differently, or also want to do it in a way that now doesn't mean that you pour everything into someone else and have an empty cup for yourself. Because I've seen so many coaches and I've coached so many coaches now who they just had such a stretched emotional bandwidth of working one-to-one, like showing up face to like it's a very intensive job when you have like even 8 hours of pretty much back-to-back one-to-one clients and you're giving everything to them and you're there for them and you're on and you're working and you're being paid. And so you need to show the fuck up. And just coming back from that and like, ooh, like kind of like having to stop and sit. And I don't think I fucking stopped and sat for like probably honestly like even years beyond that until recently. But I think that holding space for so many individuals in a really intense one-on-one capacity can be quite draining long term. And even if it's not, and you're so fucking lit up by it all the time, and like I'm high extrovert, I love this stuff, but even that, it's like the 5 a.m. starts, the 9 p.m. finishes, it just takes a toll and it's also just not sustainable. Like it's no secret that coaching and PT industry is such a still in, I believe, its infancies because of the fact that people get in the industry because it's a passion project and they love it and they make a bit of money, but then they don't know how to make a lot of money and they get stuck. And so I realized that I was stuck. I realized that my capacity was capped. I also realized that I wasn't really building a business. I had built myself a job that I was tied to. I couldn't get out of. If I didn't work, I didn't make money. If I took a fucking like long weekend, that was just unheard of, right? And so I traded in the opportunity for a 9 to 5 for someone else to a 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. for myself, earning like a good wage, but one that wasn't sustainable long term. And I think at this point I was like, okay, I'm capped. But the reason that I hadn't changed or shifted my model or business is because I didn't feel like I was really strong in business skills at that time either, to know really what to do or how this could look. But I also had a lot of fears and doubts about it. I was like, okay, well, but what would happen if I changed it? Well, it could have been about what other people will think of me. And early days, I did have some of those fears about it, right? Like my peers were already saying things like, what happens if I put this on the internet? Or, someone who knows me sees it, or, there's just so many things that can come up and they really stop us from going after what we want. And I think when I surrounded myself with the world champion athlete who was also a business owner, and I saw that other side, and I was like, oh my God, there's other people like this who, there's a new path. And she kind of really showed me there's an alternative way to doing things, because she was 100% online from like 2014 or something ridiculous before that was even a thing. And it helped give me the courage and the confidence to know that it's possible and that someone else had done it before me. And so therefore it had been like a proven method that I could go and replicate in some capacity. Um, I also, I guess, wondered when I was in this capacity position being like, fuck, I know I need, in this instance for me, I know I need like a group program or some sort of like scalable option. So I'm not on the gym floor for the rest of my fucking life. And I'm able to, clock off at 3 or start at 8 or 9 a.m. or have a half day or even a whole freaking day off or have my long weekends or take, 8 weeks holiday a year or whatever it is. But I think for me, all these fears and doubts did still come up, right? Like I wasn't, it wasn't like I was like, oh, it'll be fine and I'll just da 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 and like everything will be great and I'm fearless and I don't care about what anyone thinks of me. Like I definitely did. I just feel like I had the support system and people ahead of me in the journey to know that they had my back and the belief that it was possible. And so hopefully that helps you as well in knowing that, like, if you want to go online, if you want to build a group offer or a hybrid model, or if you want to not work in a gym 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. for the rest of your life, that there is an alternative, but only if you make it happen. Yeah, like no one else is going to create this model for you. No one else is going to change your business for you. If you're at capacity, you've been there for a while and you're feeling these things that I've sort of mentioning, then it's probably the sign for you as well that shit needs to change. And I think, I mean, it's so hindsight's 2020, right? So much easier in hindsight to say these things, but I wish I had just fucking tried sooner. That is the one thing that I wish I'd done, because I learned so much. I had incredible results, and what I felt were incredible results then would not relate to the incredible results that I feel like I have now. The different scales, and I was a different human, right? Um, but that was the turning point for me. It was going, I know that I don't want to do this forever. And I've already been sitting on my hands at this year for like 6 years. So I'm going to do it. And creating that group model, I just remember like I ended up having 2 cohorts because I couldn't fit enough in one Zoom room and adequately support everyone. But in 1 hour, I made $600. It was $60 a week, and the only like deliverable that I had was 1 hour Zoom call a week. And I was like, that's how much I usually make like most days, or maybe a little less, but like with 1 hour of work. And sure, there was some upfront and whatever, but same shit with my other clients. I still had to onboard them and do those things. So when it was rolling, I was like, $600 an hour? Like, this is insane. Like, lawyers and fucking, like, the top of the line doctors don't get this, right? And it wasn't about the money, it was about the leverage. And so what I think a lot of coaches miss is that they keep working time for money, and which I think you should in the early days, but then they get to a point where they just don't know how to stop. It's like they've created this machine that is their job, not really their business, because they can't replace themselves, and they're just stuck on the hamster wheel. And so when I kind of like unlocked this group offer and people paid me for it and I made $600 in an hour, I was like, what the fuck have I been doing this whole time? And it wasn't about scaling for the sake of having this big team and scaling and like scaling for the sake of it. It was to create breathing room for me and to create space and a life that someone like a partner could come into, and there was actually fucking time for them because I worked like 60 to 80 hours a week, and I had like Saturday nights and Sunday mornings available to do life things. Genuinely, like, was sleeping less than 6 hours a night, like just no space for anything else. And so really that's why I did it. I did it because I just knew that I didn't want to be coaching forever, and no one was coming to save me, as I'm sure you've heard people say before, but I think it hits different when you actually get out of your own way and you just take the first step, which is always the hardest. And I love this saying, I've probably said it before in this podcast, that Layla Hormozi says that fear is a mile wide, but an inch deep. And so it's like, we think fear is this huge, like you're looking out and it looks like the fucking bottom of the ocean. And then you take a step and you're like, oh, it's a cute little puddle, right? And of course it's going to be hard in the early days and you probably won't see results at the start, but you'll never see the results if you don't really dive in and give it a fucking red hot crack. Yeah, because worst thing that can happen is a great story and it didn't work out. And you can go back to doing exactly what you're doing now. I say this to my clients in our scale program all the time who are like nervous about creating group programs before they do it. And I'm like, literally the worst situation is you stay working one-on-one with your clients and you're fully booked just like you are right now. So what's the difference? Like, one option, you have the potential for like a fuck ton of growth. And like I went from, like earning 6 figures to like three quarters, of a mil in like 4 years, which is just wild. But I just got out of my own way and I went, okay, what's the step? Who knows the answer? Like I got a business coach. I think that was really helpful for me too. Because I didn't know those skills, right? And I didn't feel confident in myself to make that jump and make the leap until I had someone in my corner and someone who could just like be the guardrails for me and be like, I wouldn't try that. This doesn't work as well as this option here. Like, you're also missing this. And just having that person to bounce off was so, so fucking valuable. So another nugget is, if you haven't had or worked with a coach or someone who's further along in the path that you want to travel, then absolutely make sure that you find that person for you. And I would be so honored if that is me. If it is not, that's so cool as well. But please, please, please do yourself a favor and get support from someone who's been where you want to go. Yeah. Biggest piece of advice I can give you. The cool thing that also happened when I created this group offer, outside of the scalability, the leverage, the money that I made, was that I actually, like, my purpose and my fulfillment and my joy in my job came back, and I was so engaged and so excited, and I just like oozed enthusiasm, and people felt that, and people wanted to be around me, and whatever I created, I just drew people in like a magnet because they were like, holy fuck, I want to be around what Xenia's doing. And so I did like Pinot and Pilates, and we like sold out every time, and we did like group workshops, and every fit stop was like banging down my door being like, can you do one in our fit stop? And I just had a lot more opportunities come up because I'd stopped kind of like dragging my heels and going, well, what's the fucking point? I'm capped at 101, to like, now I have more capacity and I want to build this thing and I want to support who I was 3 to 5 years ago to do this. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is that it doesn't really matter what is happening on the surface in terms of like what people see versus what you feel, right? Like what people see or the success that you've had, like, is fucking awesome and great. And you're also allowed to not feel like content with that. You're allowed to be like, I want more, I need a change. And I think that you need to feel those things and get uncomfortable in that so that you make those moves. I also learned that being fully booked used to be like the goal. And then when it became easy or like the standard or like the new normal, I realized that being fully booked was no longer the finish line. And if you're hearing this and you're like, I'm not even fully booked, I just want to be like, that is the first goal for sure. And different phases, right? Like I used to feel those things too. And then I realized there's so much fucking more, right? And if you feel like that too, then this is your sign that your next level is ready and you are ready. There's not like, oh, I'll wait until I'm ready. Ready doesn't come. You create readiness. Yeah. Like being ready for a marathon comes from training. It doesn't come from feeling like you want to do a marathon. Yeah. We need to train to get there. And so if you are at or close to full capacity, if you know you want more, if you just don't want to be fucking on the gym floor for the rest of your life, but you still love working in this space, or you may be falling a bit out of love with it, but you know that there is deep down like some love for it that you want to pursue and you still want to do this, then I so encourage you to join some sort of program to help support you to create what you want to create. So you have the support, the accountability, and a little kick up the bum because those who pay attention, right? So I just want to invite you. If you're successful on paper, but potentially feeling not as fulfilled as you used to, it is time for you to do business differently. And I would absolutely fucking love if I was the person who got to show you how to do that. Because from someone who gets it, I will be fully transparent with you, real with you, and help you get to where you want to go without you having to do it alone. And the best part is not the money that you make, although that's awesome, not the time that you get back, although that's awesome, but it's the freedom that you create to be able to literally create your life. Like, I just, if you told me, like even 5 years ago, you'd be traveling the world, making $40,000 a month, working an hour a day or an hour a week, sorry, I'd tell you you're fucking dreaming. But it's actually fucking possible. It's possible, not impossible. It is possible. And until I saw someone doing it, I didn't believe it either. And it felt like clickbait bullshit on the internet, but you can create it and you can create whatever that version is for you. And it doesn't have to be stuck doing what you're doing now that you're falling out of love with, or you're not enjoying anymore, or you're just doing the same shit and you want some more stimulus, you want to create and you want to help more people in the world. So if you would like to have a chat about potentially joining the program, we do have limited spots. So I'm going to say potentially because we won't be able to take on everyone. Then I would love for you to apply to the Swift Biz Academy, and perhaps I can be the one to show you how to break free from the one-to-one shackles full-time and go online, or create a group program, or have more impact, income, and influence, as well as time freedom and location freedom and financial freedom. So if that is you, jump to the show notes now. If it is not, that's so fine too. I will see you in the next episode. Until then, move swiftly. Hey, coach, before you go, the reason I do this every single week and the reason we've been able to surpass 100 episodes is because of you. So thank you. We're on a mission towards never seeing another coach leave the industry because they didn't have the skills or the confidence to scale. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that before you forget. I read every single one of the comments and share as many as I can. So if you found this episode valuable, sharing it with a friend who might be able to benefit from hearing it would honestly mean so much to me. Until next time, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.